how to make a security alarm just like the phone, door alarm and phone alarm. So this is my phone, close the table. So this is my cell phone. I secured by alarm. People can thumb and toss and intent turn on. One, it's on. And now I know any people can take my mobile. All we need to do, just hold the cell phone this way and I push this button, it can turn off and re-hold back just like that. It is a phone security alarm. So now the circuit, how it's what? There are circuit. This is a phone alarm circuit. There are buzzer, which is there are buzzers. There are two types of circuits. One based on N-channel MOSFET and another is based on P-channel MOSFET. All is very simple. In my case, I made a all N-channel one. So that's why there are buzzer negative is connected to the drain terminal of the MOSFET and buzzer positive for that 4.5 volts or 5 volt power supply. So buzzer can work 1.5 to 5 volts. And there are another one plate between positive pin of the battery and MOSFET gate terminal. And MOSFET gate terminal connect to the source terminal. One push button and source is nothing at negative. What happens that when voltage is passed to a positive door, that to a buzzer, negative can go to a source. But normal condition MOSFET is turned off. So that's why there's no turn flow between source to drain. That's why this buzzer cannot work. When I touch these two aluminum plates, positive voltage flow to the buzzer as well as this positive voltage battery through this one plate to other plate of a MOSFET. It can trigger the MOSFET and MOSFET convert the voltage source to drain and turn on the buzzer. And when buzzer is turned on, so there the capacitance is on with capacitance in MOSFET. So that's why when once touch in can turn on automatically. So after resetting, you can connect the MOSFET gate terminal to a negative terminal of the battery to discharge the MOSFET capacitor. So that's why I connect this switch, because if you connect the resistor, it still works, but there are any people can touch your cell phone and leave it quickly. That's this buzzer can turn off. You may know it. So there's if any people can touch your phone, it can turn on automatically, and you may know any people can touch your phone after you can go win your phone and reset by this automatically this switch. If you not reset, it can continue work all the time. So normally buzzer is turned off. If you like to turn on the buzzer, that case you can connect switch and plates connect instead of these two plates and plates connect instead of the switch. That case you can push the switch, buzzer is turned on automatically. And any people come and touch these plates and can turn off. But it is normally you can use turn on a buzzer, it can produce too noise. That's why I recommend normal condition you may connect this configuration, which configuration allows to normally turn off the buzzer. When any people can touch these two plates, buzzer is that turn on. MOSFET, P-channel MOSFET configuration is same, but little bit different is that this test buzzer negative supply is directly to the battery and buzzer positive connect to the MOSFET drain and MOSFET source is positive. So normally negative can directly go to a buzzer to a battery to a buzzer, but positive can blocked by this MOSFET. The MOSFET normal condition is off. When you touch the negative terminal as well as the gate terminal, negative voltage flow to a negative terminal to gate terminal and MOSFET turn on. That in the positive voltage to the buzzer positive and buzzer is turned on. And when push the button, you can discharge by this MOSFET gate to the positive, because this MOSFET and channel MOSFET is work one way and the opposite way is P-channel MOSFET is reverse the N-channel MOSFET. Both are same, but they are reversed. Working principle in reverse way. And there is what is inside it. So I attached the all assembly into a plastic case of the phone, because so it is I have a two phone cases because I use a one plastic tower, because this tower is so one tower is a protective tower. I already attached my cell phone back side. So this is other tower which is it has this electronic circuit. Is there a buzzer where it is a 5 volt buzzer, it looks like there. There is a MOSFET. There is a battery which is a salvage of the laptop battery, and there is a reset button. And this black wire is connected to the MOSFET source as a battery negative, and this red wire will go the one as well as one plate of a plate, aluminum foil, and other this switch wire will be there straight as well as the other plate wire. So that is the inside of this interside V buzzer, MOSFET battery, which is cellular developer battery, and there is a push button and there is some wires. And backside aluminum plates, which is these are two foils. They are not joined and touched to each other, so they are dabbed too much. So what I do, what I touch, any people can touch them. It is a human body is conductive without inside of blood, can pass the circuit and that can turn on. And there is, and now those are door lock system. Door security system is this time laser security system in the LDR, but I don't have LDR or laser diode, so that's why I am showing these two circuits. So I made this one based on TP42C PNP transistor, but I recommend you can make NPN and PNP and both way, but they are fundamental same. There are NPN based circuit and there is a PNP based circuit. First tell. So buzzer positive is connected to a positive, and buzzer positive also connected with 820 ohm resistor because they are 5 volt to the base, and emitter is a negative and cluster is output the buzzer of the negative. What happened that when this wire connected negative to the base terminal, what happened that first this NPN transistor base is working with positive voltage, so that's why they are pulled up already, so it already can turn on, but it is also pulled down by this breakable wire. What happened that any people can come and to light this wire, it can break this wire. Signal is removed by base. This positive signal is already present in the resistor, but it is not passed because there are negative signal can block them the positive signal. When this wire is blocked, their negative signal is removed. Positive signal is passed through this resistor to the base and transfers conduct the voltage to a negative line, emitter to collector to turn on the buzzer. That is NPN and PNP figure is same, but they are reversed. Circuit. So there are based on TP42C. So I buzzer negative connected battery negative and buzzer positive connected to the PNP transistor terminal. PNP transistor emitter terminal is positive. What happened that negative voltage battery directly go to the buzzer, but positive voltage go to a transistor, but transistor is normally turned off. So that's why it cannot trigger the voltage, convert the voltage to emitter to collector. So that the buzzer cannot on. But I also put that 820 ohm resistor down by this PNP transistor base to a negative. That means negative signal is also though with 820 ohm resistors to limit to a base to turn on the transistor. That is it buzzer is transistor turn up the voltage and buzzer turn on the continuously. But I also connect this wire to a base to a positive line, this breakable wire to put normal when wire is properly plugged, they can pull the transistor up. That's why transistor cannot turn on because this transistor is PNP transistor. That transistor is run when it's pulled down, it can turn flow when its transistor base is pulled down. It pull up the nation is turned off. Well, this wire presents this voltage flow, this positive voltage flow with this wire to the base of the transistor that can drop the negative voltage of this base with base, and this transistor is not in that volt. When this wire is dropped, there are positive voltage is dropped, base and negative positive voltage is removed out and negative voltage complete by this. So passed by resistor to a transistor and transistor turn on the buzzer by positive putting the emitter to collector to the buzzer, and this is a circuit is now made a circuit and come back. But just for demonstrate, I can show you circuit in here. So I build this circuit. This is a battery which I can power them. Keep in mind this circuit need a proper priority, otherwise it can burn out. So I connect positive wire to the emitter of the transistor, and I connect this one other wire to the negative terminal and see in the first table, and after see in my door, front of the door. Now that's the wire at the other one. normally it can beep out because this wire part wire, so you can see beep out. So that's why it is produce two noise. So I remove one wire and you can see I test the circuit. They are battery positive. It's connected to ammeter transistor. So I just as I say, collectors connect a buzzer positive and so transistor I am using PNP transistor. That's why I do not a positive line. And the buzzer negative is definitely this battery negative as well as resistor to normally turn on this transistor base, and transistor base is normally turned off by this wire which is connecting to this positive. What happened that when I touch the wire, see what happened here. That is, so when I touch the wire, there are negative line, positive line is drop out, and that can turn on the transistor because this is a resistor is develop power to turn on the transistor and turn on the buzzer. Now I attach this setting into my door, and after I test, but I with this wire, I meant thin wire as possible, so this wire any people can see its wire is present. So that's why it is a problem. If thin wire is possible, so any people cannot see if you can use a thin wire, any people come and to light and injure themselves. So I use a thinner wire and not soft wire, not a sharp wire. It can damage you if any people come and to light. So it is a 5 volt. It's also safe, but I this circuit belongs to the 2 hours of work, so I am basically working too much. There is a problem. I meant thin wire use because I use a thinner wire because I have only thinner wire, not a thin wire. So and other I have a small wire, not a large wire. So that's why I am use a half door towel, but I am managing the towel your full door all the way around. So you can see where starts. There are wires which is they are connected 31st cell. So their battery. Although I made a one other model which is I made it, but project I did not test because if I later I can test that, so I attach this model. With now right now I use only battery with their circuit attached, and there are 2 wires to the floor, and 1 wire will be going into these lines, these wires, this wire, and they are all wires. I attach them and this. Now it's connected. All connected. Now what is that? There is a thin wire, but all this wire is too sharp. If you light them, it can damage you, and you can use a full long wire, full door. So any people can light jump through the wire pass. I meant all the area at all, but I don't have too much wire, so I can use the half area. And this is an indoor project, not outdoor project, but outdoor. Some people, most of people know what it is. Some people use the tricks to this thing to diffuse them, and after then enter your home and so that's why it can work. Now I will try it. You can see it's turn on. Well, I've tried it, it can turn on. It will go back. So you can see all wires. I don't try it next time because I light very fast and everywhere is low. So if I can rejoin, it can consume too much hours and time. So that's why. And this video is like next video very soon. And